Well, hello there, everybody. A little Brewer and Shipley, just one toke over the line. That's all it takes, man. I mean, and what can you say? So good to see all of you. It is the middle of the week, or can be the beginning of the week. I don't know. Depends, I guess, your point of view. But speaking favor, like all over us, it's like collecting honey. You put your hand in it, and it's sticky all over. That's what favor is. Someone asked me, says, well, what is your definition of favor? Well, my background, I had the meaning and the perception that it was the best of what God had to offer. Now, God can be anything you want to put in there, but that's not a bad way to go. I mean, it's seriously, think about it. It's pretty cool, actually. So yeah, baby. Just excited to be here, be of service to others. Best way to be. Happy birthday. You got one. And hey, we be up prospering. So what's happening? Man, hello there, Grandpa Brian. Looking forward to see you on Friday. Man, who's all in here? Julie Rose, how are you, darling? Susie Q, Amy, Deborah Sloan, much love to you. Gloria, there's a song about you. Like you never heard that before, I'm sure. Hey, Rebel Preacher, what's up? Got to get you on, brother. I'd like to see where the moniker of the name comes from. That's a cool one. Hey, Lost in Space. So good to see you. Go. Hello, NP. So what is happening? Hey, Lauren, good to see you, darling. I saw Heidi in here. How are you, sweetie? Good to see you, Andrew. So yeah. I got to say this, and I've got the fact I can literally show you. Give me a second, because this is remarkable. Let me see. So as you can see, we were forecast to have the mid and upper 90s, 100s, like the next 10 days, Well, something changed, because now we are going to be, let me get it in here. As you can see, well, you can't see. Can you get focused there? But anyway, yeah, next week, low 80s. So keep at it. That's all I got to say. We're having an impact, and that's what it takes. And then while you're at it, just go ahead and take one token. Just go across the line. Sweet Jesus. There you go. Hey, Esley, what's happening? Truth Seeker. Troy, good to see you. What's up? So David Gregg, good to see you as well. And let's thank you, Truth Seeker. Hey, Courtney Mack, good to see you, darling. Love your shows. Donna D, how are you? Greetings from North Carolina. What part are there in the Tar Heel State are you? That used to be my territory. I lived in Knoxville and South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, anyway, but North Carolina. And because at one time, Charlotte was I had two main areas, Charlotte, because of NASCAR. We had a number of teams that my company represented on raising sponsorship. And the other one was right there in the Research Triangle Park. Yeah. So a lot of good clients there. So that's all I got to say. So anyway, let's see. Rob says 111 degrees in Scottsdale. Let's see. Rob, that's Arizona, right? Like in the middle of the freaking desert. Yeah. I'm just thinking to myself, going, let's see. Shannon says, I'm coming from Texas and going great. Well, there you go. I'm sending down that cool weather. Boy, the years I lived in Austin, Texas, which were far out, but God, was it hot. Whew. I mean, this is even beyond Africa hot. It's hotter than hell. Anyway, what's up? So what else? We're really going to get into this thing that it's really not that complicated. It really isn't. We make it complicated. So a little review here, because I don't know, I don't ask, but I pretty much write down what's happening, and you keep the journals. And if you're doing into manifestation exercises, and they're not experiments as much as they're exercises, pump that iron, baby. Yeah. The plan. How many of you have been doing your plan? As you can see, the plan, it actually works. It really does. So it dawned on me late last night, because I've had to get a new computer that's on its way. And this one here has got favor all over it. That's all I got to say. Yeah. Now I have my list, and I've memorized my list. And here is the exciting thing. 3 items on my list, and these were not needs, or wants. Needs are those things that you have to have in order to survive. Wants are those kind of things that, it's kind of your desire. But anyway, 3 items have come to pass on my list. And I happen to know that there's at least 3 more on their way coming to pass. Like I said, I believe this stuff, man. I really do. I mean, it's like from my reality, my bubble, this stuff really works. I mean, it's no bullshit, it's no con. It actually works, because the thing about it is, you can listen to everybody until you pass on, but it isn't going to do you 1 ounce of good until it becomes real to you. True. So that's my report card. Yeah, I know we cover so much great. I was going through, remember, we did a couple of videos on this magical use of thought forms. And I was going back through this, and the synchronicity of the energy of this group is amazing, because everything is tied together. I mean, we are weaving one far out tapestry. I mean, this is a work of art, and we're building it in the ether while we're building it here. And I got to tell you, the early reviews are just fabulous. I got to tell you, they're just off the chart. The critics that have seen it are just absolutely wowed. They just can't they just walk away, speechless. So way to go, group. That's all I got to say. So I want to share this. It came in a meditation, because the energy has just been so freaking whacked out of late. I mean, I don't know about you, but it takes sometimes a lot of energy, to counter that which tries to influence. And, in the spirit realm, they're cowards over there. There are bullies. And once they know that you stand your ground, you can expect to be tested. The stronger you get in the faith of your own intuition, the more you're going to be tested. And I have no doubt many of us will pass with flying colors. We're going to get the freaking 5 gold stars, baby. That's all I got to say. That was the big thing in first grade. I worked hard to get front row, and I worked hard to make sure that I didn't get it every day, but I did pretty good, got that gold star. And then at the end of the week, you get, the one who did their homework and blah, 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 yeah. Mm-hmm. I could kiss ass from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. It's not, well, you learn how, the system works. That's all I got to say. So, looking at the video count, it's well over 8 million, and, it's been fun. It's going to continue to stay fun. But here's the deal. in the vast majority of those 8 million plus views, and thank all of you, thank you for hitting the like button, feed the algorithm. I speak almost all the time at the beginning and speak favor over us all. In fact, I'll probably be remembered as that guy that did the favor thing here in the secular world. But this is what I do know. Words are seeds. Fact. Everything in this realm comes from a seed. If you want to say in the beginning, yeah. Hey, Scott Robinson, how you do? Good day to you, sir, from Australia. How is it down there? How's the winter been? So good to see you and welcome. Scotty boy, appreciate it, brother. Hey, Paul Joe, what's up? Good to see you. And is that March Arc Spot? Good to see you. Favor is earned. Yeah, I think it can be. Trust is earned. It's amazing how many humans trust something so readily. Let me just speak from personal experience. The attribute of character is something we all strive for. Integrity, honoring your word, trust. Now, it can be a vice. It can become a grievance because trust, and I was one of these people. I trusted people. I took them at their word so many times and, made plans accordingly. But as we all learn, and we're all guilty of this, it's amazing what happens when you're tested about your word. Is your word your bond? The great line in the movie The Freshman with Marlon Brando and Matthew Broderick and Penelope Miller, that movie holds some significance. But anyway, great line in there that Marlon Brando says when they're at this ice skating rink. And if you want to go see a good movie, go watch it, called The Freshman. Anyway, Matthew Broderick and his character ask Marlon Brando, who, by the way, was playing the satirical character of The Godfather. It was funny. You got to see it. And I love what Marlon Brando said. And this is what he was. So here's the dialogue. Matthew Broderick says, "But sir, can I trust you?" Marlon Brando, as The Godfather, responded back, "Clark, every word I speak, by definition, is a promise." Love it. I mean, those are great lines. I mean, and it's so true. So I said all of that. By the way, the trusting aspect, this is where you have to have what I would call discernment. Not all people are worthy of your trust. Your trust is very valuable. The fact is, your trust is so valuable, no God can exist without a human's trust. I mean, if all humans distrusted all the gods, they got no place to go. So you really have to use discernment. Again, there are people out there that'll screw you, baby. And they won't even give you a reach around. And that just sucks. You know what I mean? But anyway, as we go on with woods now, we're talking about woods. So I know that words are seeds. You get along in a certain path of life, you begin to look back and you're going, oh, yeah. Why didn't I figure that out a long time ago? But with the thing is that we do. Now, here's the important thing, and I'll give you a little in-depth. This is what I will call a golden nugget. There was a guy, a real con artist preacher back in the day up in Dallas, Texas, called Bob Tilton. And wow. Anyway, but the dude used some really good, words that stuck in you. And so words are, in fact, seeds. But here is the thing. The reason why all of your words do not come to pass, do not bear fruit, is that because all seeds require germination. Now, metaphorically speaking here, germination is what you would call your faith. So if you would say unto this mountain, be you cast up and thrown into the sea, and that mountain is any obstacle, and doubt not in your heart, but believe that those things for which you say shall come to pass, you shall have them. Can't get rid of it, man. It's in there. And I know that because I have tried it. I've tested it. And I don't need it shrouded in a religion. It's wisdom. It's truth. It works regardless if you worship the devil, if you worship Jesus, if you worship yourself or no one. It still works. It's a law. It's a principle. But the thing is, that seed must be germinated. Because, and here's the thing, many times people who are believing to change their lives, their circumstances, they will start out with the best of intentions. Man, they're all geared up, and I mean, they're ready to go. They went out and bought a whole new outfit, got the best shoes on, and ready to do this, baby. But the problem is that they don't understand that this is not a sprint, this is a marathon. So getting back to the germination, many people will basically stop their faith, which stops the germination of their very word that they are wanting to speak. And many times we do this by saying such thing, well, that doesn't work. That's just a bunch of crap, you know, heard it before. Well, kind of like working out. If you think that you're going to come in with well-defined, well-toned muscles and have never lifted a weight in your life, if you think that that's going to happen in the first day, we all know you're going to be sadly disappointed. In fact, it ain't going to happen for the first week. Fact is, it may not be actually showing for a couple of weeks. And so the point is here, people pull their faith. They stop the germination. Now, for me, I know that fact, so you can add that to your knowledge base, your gnosis. The second thing is no seed produces a singular product. All seeds will germinate and produce a 10-fold, some 1,000-fold. Yeah, it is like Joe Sapien says, it's like the gym. Yeah, faith and diligence. And you know what? Faith and diligence hurts. It does. I mean, yeah, you know, but it's the truth. So here's my point. I speak favor to at least 1,000 people a day on every one of these videos. And as the months go on, people will look at them. That's a seed. I plant the seed. Favor in this case is the best of what life has to offer. When I speak favor, that's what I'm talking about. You'll always find that parking space right next to the front door of the building you're going in. You'll be standing in line and the airline agent will come and pull you out and say, you know, sir, we're going to give you a free upgrade. Time after time. That's what favor means. The best of what life has to offer. And here's the thing about offers. The offer only becomes good if you make claim to it. I mean, think about it. Offer expires. You know, we see that so much in our jargon. Offer expires on such and such date. Well, there's some reality to that. And so even though I have faced the storms, you're going to face them. Just suck it up, cupcake. I mean, you know, quit your bitching and start your living. That's all I got to say. it's a stitching instead of a bitching. And why? Because you're stitching it together. And don't bitch about it. If you're complaining, then you've completely invalidated everything that you were doing for whatever change you were going. And so if I went by the principle, because I kind of like play it conservative, being in sales, when you had to give your annual projections for the next year, you don't want to be Mr. Smarty, and say, well, I'm going to be the top salesman. Yeah. What happens if something happens? Yeah. Shannon, that is amazing. She says, I had money thrown in my path several times yesterday. The total was $70 from different places. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, when, we're going to get into, more of our experiment, because it works. So if I just used the 100-fold principle, right? So 8 million times 100 is 800 million favors coming back to me. My spirit guide told me last night, says, dude, you got so much in the harvest, you'll never use it in this incarnation. No. You'll step over on the other side, and this favor will permeate it. It's like a robe. When you walk through the veil, it attaches to yourself. And there's different robes. I'm just talking about this one. So I'm just reading it. Scotty Black cracks my ass up. Oh, yeah. David Combs, how are you doing? Good to see you, Bernadette. But seriously, how do you go wrong? And like I said, this last couple of days have just been a real, gotta tell you, fucking bummer. You can sit and talk behind the mic all you want, Jack, but I'll tell you what, when it comes to who's wearing the big boy shoes, or girl shoes, whatever the gender, or her, it, I don't care. Yeah. And we have this group of witnesses, man. So I gotta tell you, they're around us, man. And I think many of them marvel, because so many of us, we're drawn together because of our past experiences. They mirror and they parallel. And many of us are veterans. I mean, we just are. Not to say we don't have our moments. We all do. But yeah. Someone said, John Price says, wait till the AC. Yeah, let me tell you, fortunately, living here in Colorado, and the further west and southwest you go, we have a portable swamp cooler. And I'm telling you, I got the electric bills to prove it. It saved us $300+ the first month. So yeah. Anyway, what? Not gonna. That's cute, Joyce. So there's a point to all this. I mean, the environment outside, it's not pretty. I mean, you can't put lipstick on a pig and say that you're going to put some pearls on it. You're wasting the pearls, and the lipstick isn't going to do any good at all, but just gets smeared. But it's just, that's what it is. It's ugly. But this is a time where I believe many of us, no matter what they throw at us, and I was having this conversation not too long ago. What's the worst they can do? Kill us? That's release. I mean, seriously? I mean, here's the point where I am at in my life. Man, I had the best time. I came in, I have said this, and I'll say it going out. I came in at the best time, and I'll be leaving at the right time. But man, I got to tell you what, 1970, 71, 72, 73, far out. That's all I got to say. It was just far out. And, the late 70s, they were too bad. The 80s, not bad. 90s, we had Clinton. I mean, it was cool. It was. So, and they can't take that away. All right. Kaboom. There we go. Remember, it's the memories that are immortal. Memories are immortality. They're your memories. We all have shared memories, and even in the shared memories, they're still uniquely ours. So, okay. Courtney, yes, I have. The human design. Yeah. So you're a manifesting generator. There you go. You see, all my years of the prosperity message, yeah, I may have been indoctrinated, but, I was indoctrinated to the point that I knew it worked, because parallel to that message, there were people like Brian Tracy and Zig Ziglar and Norman Vincent Peale and just a number of others who were my mentors. And then the person that came into my life that changed my life, Bill Kroll, left many years ago. But Bill, you look in your path and you look at those inflection points where people came in, key people. Now I can look back and see where Bill Kroll's interaction with me set my road off into a different direction. Bill taught me, what's the best word? He taught me the meaning of discretion, but class. You see, one of the things I found out about prosperity is that prosperity will not hang out with poor poverty thinking. It repels it, stinks. It does, stinks. And I learned from Bill, and that's what a good student will do. He will learn, she will learn from their teacher. Good dude. Anyway, so moving right on along. But I'm sure many of you have had those individuals. Honor them. And also remember this: honor all altars. May not be yours, but dishonor it. So, all righty, we move on. It's the journey, folks. It is the journey. I also say for what, and someone needs to hear this, I guess. The thing about wealth, it's not money. Wealth is a state of consciousness. It is. And because of the poverty that I grew up out of, it took me decades to break that. I mean, it was so far embedded in my consciousness in the core, because poverty is insidious. It sucks life. So the thing that Bill taught me, and someone needs to hear this, before prosperity will find you acceptable, you have to learn to be adaptable. And Bill would show me my mannerisms, the way I responded or answered to things. And he would always take me aside and say, Wayne, know what you were trying to do here, but consider this. And maybe next time, act like this. And yeah. And it's amazing once even a little bit gets in you and it becomes a part of you. I mean, you don't need money. Money will find you. Because actually, as I've said to you before, large sums of money are a real pain in the ass. I mean, it has its own set of challenges. But to me, being rich is having my needs met. I mean, if I have my needs met, it certainly opens the door for me to do freaking anything I want. Think about that. Okay. Lauren and Heidi, I'll tell you, there's a story there between there, and I love it. Hey, Rennie, what's up? Good to see you, Emperor Rex. So, yeah, more money, different set of problems. Scotty boy, you're absolutely right. It's so true, so true. I'm just telling you. And let me tell you what this attitude of wealth, that's the only thing I can define it. Within a year, I went from this diamond in the rough that I wouldn't known how to acted in the company of, for instance, the chairman and CEO of a very large bank, being invited and getting to know two congressmen, getting to know one of the most prominent law firms in the city that I was at. So anyway, if you've got ears, just listen. Trying to give y'all something here. Off the grid, yeah. You know, it's all part of the journey. So, man, wasn't my intent to go quite down that far of the road, but seeds, man, germinate them. Make sure that, you know, and here's the other thing. I'll just tell you, some of us, and I was one of those, you speak the negative words. I mean, you just speak them out of the abundance of the heart. The mouth speaks. Get yourself in a life-threatening situation. You're going to find out where you really stand on situations. But anyway, we have this natural environment that those kind of words just seem to, you know, it's like this filter. It's like, all right, it's there, because a positive word would be the death of that environment. And then we want to know why. It's like, what the hell happened there? That's all I got to say. Thank you, Courtney. That's so sweet of you. But it's true, folks. All right. So moving on along. Don't know how you did on the last 48-hour experiment. And Klaus, I'm going to use your PDF. So this is the Albie Einstein principle. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on this because I want to get into something else. In fact, I may just go to that first. Well, let's see. I think I shall. I'll go to this first, and then we'll pick up on the last part of the experiment. So there is this thing I noticed amongst the conversation in the chat, and the word blessed and the word blissed, B-I-B-L-I-S-S-E-D. Well, it's interesting if you read, because we divide this word and what we say, well, blessed means to be blessed. Well, I guess that's one way you can interpret it, but the right of the word itself goes much deeper, goes way back, goes back all the way to the children of Israel. So I just thought I'd look at the canon. This is where everything, if really, you folks, you really should have this PDF. And you should, if you're ever bored, you should read this, because this is canon law. So canon law 5426 talks about the word blessed in Article 5. It says a blessed, capital B, is one who has been duly anointed as rightful ruler, leader of a particular tribe, community, or society, It is one of the four very first ancient rights of sovereignty in civilized history, first defined by the Colonian. That goes long back. I mean, that's some aged cheese. That's all I got to say. Woo! And I happen to love aged cheese. How many of you are fans of blue cheese? Love it. I mean, oh. In Las Vegas at the Four Queens, Hugo's Cellar, one of the best restaurants in Vegas, in my opinion. Go there every time we have been there in years. But anyway, when they come out to make your salad, I mean, they come out, everything is fresh. And they always had this beautiful wedge of blue cheese. I digress, I know, but anyway, probably because I'm hungry. All right, Canon 5427, the word blessed comes from the 6th millennium BCE. Ancient Irish word blessed, originally meaning to anoint, one who is anointed a chief, leader, and ruler. Later, the word was deliberately corrupted in Gaelic to mean to add flavor, to sprinkle seasoning. All right, tell me, how many of you had that in your repertoire? Seriously? I mean, wow. All right. Canon 5428, the word Messiah and Christos are equivalent to blessed. However, the ceremony of blessed in the context of the holy precedes all other ancient ceremonies of anointment. Now, if you're anointed, you know, that's how Israel chose their kings. They were anointed. The Christo was anointed, as he said in the synagogue, you know, I have been anointed. And if any of you who in your prior religious experience have ever known what it is to have oil warm, and then this is quite an experience. It really is. It's extremely emotionally moving. But when you get anointed, for instance, I was anointed to, you know, preach the gospel, which I still am. It's just not their gospel. It's my gospel. But anyway, it's quite the experience. There is something, you know, beyond physical that happens. It's really quite an experience. Canon 5429, given the Hiskos of the descended from the Colonian and the Eblaw, descendants of Ireland, the Hiskos and their descendants of the Yahudah, including David, priest kings of Jerusalem, were properly blessed. 5430, as the therapeutic of Greece and Macedonia were the legitimate refugees of the Yahudah, the descendants being the Greek of Macedonian kings who were properly blessed. Celtic civilizations originates from the reforms of the 6th century BCE instituted by the prophet Jeremiah and the holy king Ecolad. The leaders and the rulers of the Celtic nations across the northern hemisphere were properly blessed. As a true historic significance and proper meaning of blessed is one of the first, oldest, and most important rights of sovereignty in civilized history. No claim by any alleged official, including but not limited to any monarch, judge, priest, or head of a religion, to have been divinely or sacredly anointed is valid unless performed by the Colonian or the valid descendants. Wow. Puts a whole different spin. I mean, you know, who of us haven't been, you know, where you've had, you know, multiple hands laid on you, you know, words of prophecy spoken and what have you. I mean, these are all ancient. They're not, this is what gets me. I mean, you have certain religions that have hijacked them and falsely made claim that they're theirs, but actually they're not. They go back, they're older than virtually every religion on this planet. Our ancestors, they knew something. Let's see. As of all powers, authority and privilege previously granted to the Kololian have now been permanently vested to the most sacred covenant, the Pectorium of the Singularis of the Callium. Wow, Victorian. Okay, excuse me. All associated powers, ritual, and authority concerning blessed is now subject to those valid officials anointed in accordance with these canons. Heavy stuff, folks. That's all I got to say. This is a fascinating book. It tells you what a ruler is. A ruler is a man or woman who by blood right and ancestral heritage is entrusted to govern a particular tribe, community, or society. It is one of the four very first ancient rights of sovereignty, again, in civilized history, first defined by the Kololians. Wow. It's probably why it's important that, if you try to find your ancestral bloodline, you might find yourself the direct descendant of an ancient ancestor who was in fact anointed, initiated in. You may be holding in yourself right now, in your blood, the right of authority in the spiritual kingdom that you have no idea about. You may have seen in your life peculiarities of things that have happened. You may have found yourself that when you were in a group that you were chosen the leader. You were always kind of looked at as the center. That isn't by coincidence. There is, and folks, again, offer is due to expire when you do. So, yeah. Think about it. The word ruler comes from the 6th millennium BC ancient Irish word ruler, meaning one who rules, and comes from 3 ancient Irish words, ru, meaning red, blood, il, meaning he, thee, and ear, meaning entrusted, from the East. Hence, the literal etymological meaning of ruler is the one who is entrusted by blood to govern. That's all I got to say about that. There are so many of us that, what do our ancestors do? Shake their head and go, well, the poor bastards will never figure it out. Well, wait a minute. Some of us got the light. We got the memo. As the true historical significance and proper meaning of ruler is one of the first and oldest and most important rights of sovereignty, again, in civilized history, any and all claims, alleged officials, including but not limited, again, to the monarch, judge, priest, head, blah, blah, religion, to be a valid ruler are null and void unless such rituals are performed by a valid Kololian or a valid descendant. Got a sense I may be talking to some really important people out there. You truly are royalty. Raise your hand. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's all I got to say. Oh, boy. How interesting. Okay. Moving right on along. I'm going to stop the share here for a second. So what say y'all on that one, huh? Is that one amazing? All right. So tell me, who out there, who's a queen? Who's part of royalty here? There's got to be something. It's interesting, Loretta. You think about the prolific nature of Genghis Khan, they say all of us have some of his blood. So that's interesting. Oh, Courtney says, all right. Yeah, you know what? It's like if you don't lay claim to it, don't be bitching on the other side. When you find out you truly were royalty, but you lived like a pauper. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, if that's your thing, I mean, far out. But think about it. Better to be unknown than known. I don't know, Chris. I mean, isn't that what you hope, that people, when you pass over, that they'll remember you, what you did in this world and what you contributed? Yeah, it gets really interesting. Scotty boy, I think Grace has got it. There we go. We all are royalty. I gather, if you look at today and you look at the bloodlines, I think there's a pretty good, and listen, it doesn't matter if it's 0.00001. It's still more than 0.00001. That's all I'm saying. Jules says, I'm infamous. Indeed, you are, my dear. I love it. Shannon says, I'm a descendant of Welsh monarchy. Would have been something to discuss with my family, not fled when we were overthrown. Bingo. That's my point. And so I guess, Shannon, this is what I kind of look at it. In the spiritual realm, why can't we lay claim to that? I mean, we may not be able to actually ascend into the actual property of it, but I've learned something about the ethereal. The ethereal doesn't understand, if you bring something in to yourself and you're laying claim by the fact that you say, hey, I'm a king, I'm a duke, whatever, I'm a prince. Yeah, I'm a prince of a guy, I got to tell you right now. Hell yes. All right. Having fun on this one. Let's go. All right. Continue on with Pam's book, I tell you. And Klaus, he did something that was really cool. So let me get to this. So this is experiment 3. This one here, by the way, is a 2-hour experiment. And I don't know about you. I wrote in my notes, the cars I saw a total of 3, but I wasn't outside to see any butterflies. But it's interesting. I did see a picture in an ad of yellow monarchs. So I don't know if that would count. I'm saying, I'm giving myself a little leeway and saying, yeah, how did an ad know to come to me with yellow butterflies? I don't know. I love Ray Charles. It's right underneath your fingers, baby. That's all you have to understand. Everything is right underneath your fingers. So our good friend in Germany, Klaus, he actually, what he has done is that he condensed each one of these chapters into quick bullet points where you can at least get the gist of what the experience is. So the field of infinite possibilities, the FP, you can say the field of potentiality, unlimited, however you want to do it. So we want to get in to our third. And again, thank you, Klaus. If y'all want the PDF, I mean, these are great documents there. That's all I got to say. You too are a field of energy. Everything you know about the universe and its laws is more than likely to be 99.99% wrong. I was awake last night. And, when you come under attack, and that's how they attack you, is in your mind. You have to be able to be strong enough and be absolutely assured and who and what you are when you come back. Because one of the things I've learned is that I can create anything. It's just how dedicated, how committed am I to see that? Or am I going to allow the river of life just to carry me down? No, the only way you make headways is when you resist the waters of the head of life itself. And we are powerfully imprisoned by the terms in which we have been conducted to think. Your energy at each moment, you mold and shape this energy by your consciousness. How many of you in your times before you're going to sleep or in times of meditation are really beginning to see some stuff? I mean, it's like, yeah, the wild thoughts don't come by as much. You're finding that place where there's a certain quietness, a certain serenity. Anyway, you do so with every thought, every intention, every action. How you feel, what you think, believe, and value, and how you live your life affect how the energy flows through you. To put it in simplest terms, and it's not that complicated, this affects how you vibrate. Now, it's interesting. I want to stop here. So you can actually measure what energy does to your heart, your lungs, your stomach. Biofeedback, if any of you have ever experienced that, it's the same thing. Now, if you have, a blood pressure unit, if you have a stethoscope, you can find and experience exactly what these energies do to you. You can see how your pulse can increase. And these are signs for you to begin to control that. And this is what I interpret this to be. Creating something is not wishing. It's not hoping. It's absolute certainty that without a doubt, this is how I look, has already happened. If the future does exist, then everything that I have projected is already materialized. Just got to pull it down. And how you vibrate affects what you pull in from the interlocking, inner balancing, every moving energy field in which you swim. You pull out of this field and into your world anything that happens to be vibrating on the same frequency or wavelength. It's right underneath your fingers, baby. That's all you have to understand. Everything is right underneath your fingers. So I want to go back and circle back of what the man who changed my life. When you begin to realize that you are already wealthy, and you have to define that, each person has to define what that specifically means. Again, to some people, it's, inordinate amounts of money. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. But with others, they've learned that, less is best. Book of Proverbs says a poor man never has to worry about a threat, never has to worry about being stolen from. It's the rich man that has to build the castle, build the wall to protect from people. Yeah. Think about it. So this is the experiment, and we can all do this together. Bring your palms towards each other like you're about to clap. There you go. But stop 3 inches before your hands make contact. I would say, well, give everyone an idea. And I'm sure someone's going to say, Steiger, did you really have a ruler? Yes. So you can see about what 3 inches is, right? About there. So about that. Draw your attention to the space between your wrist. Okay. All right. Because your wrist contain several energy centers. The energies will connect, and most likely you will feel some, I'm already feeling the warmth. Are you feeling that? A sensation in the area between them. Yeah. Try moving your wrist about an inch closer and then out a few inches. Wow. I got to tell you what I'm feeling. It's like a magnet. Really, it's like, holy crap. Wow, that is just are any of you, can you feel that field? Can you feel that? That is amazing. Wow. Okay. Experiment 2. Here's what you do. Get 2 wired coat hangers, easy to obtain in most closets. Untwist the neck of each hanger until you've got just 2 straight wires. These are your Einstein wands, or rather they will be when you shape them into an L. So for those of you, excuse me, who already have some rods, you can do this. Anyway, those of you don't, you can cut a plastic straw in half so you can score 1 free charge at McDonald's. Used to be. You can slide the handle, so this is what you have where you can allow it to flow. Now pretend you're a double-fisted gunslinging Matt Dillon from Gunsmoke. I don't know if people remember Gunsmoke. I do, but with the wand held chest high, about 10 inches from your body. They'll flip all over the place at first, but like I said, you're going into the river of energy. So give them a few moments to settle down. Okay. Once they've stopped flapping, you're ready to begin the experiment with your eyes straight ahead. Vividly recall some very, and I have to, excuse me, bring this up. All right. A very unpleasant event from your past. Depending on the intensity of your emotions, the wands will either stay straight ahead, weakly intensity, or will point inwards tip to tip. The wand will follow the electromagnetic bands around your body, which have contracted as a result of the negative frequency. So let's do this. So let's give it a minute here. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to think. Wow. That was intense. Yeah. All right. Now make your frequencies turn positive by thinking something lovely or joyous. The wands will now expand outward as your energy field expands. So I'm going to do this again. I have them free. Let's let them find their balance. Okay. Now keep your eyes straight ahead, but focus your attention on the object to your far right or far left, and watch your wands follow your thoughts. The more you play with this, the more adept you become at the feeling of the vibrational shift as you change from one frequency to the others. So you hear it right here, and we've just seen what happens. So abracadabra. That's all I got to say on the thought that I was having. I speak, therefore it shall be. There we go. All right. So, boy, that was fun. I love this stuff. And Jeff Doherty's rods, I tell you, they work. I'm just telling you all the time. It's amazing. They are a part of my paranormal package. So there we go. I hope it's been fun to you. I mean, this is cool stuff. But, you know, a lot of people would just rather, you know, stay in that river of fear and, you know, let all the bad news just collapse their whole stuff. Odin just said, my mom and sisters would be laying hands on me, praying that if they knew I was watching a channel like this. Well, we love them. We love everybody. That's just the openness, you know. It's like, geez, you know. Right. Why don't ask your mom or your sisters, how does imperfection come from perfection? Okay. They never tell you that. Amy, glad you enjoyed it. Hey, it's uplifting, it's upbeat, and it's sure the hell better trying to figure out, you know, dodging the whatever it is falling out there. But let's see. Cool. I wish I knew. You got that right, Scotty boy. All right. Oh, Shirley says Hebrew teaches no laying on of hands. Well, you know those people like laying on of hands stuff. That's that pagan stuff, you know. Paganism. It's all over the place. That's paganism. It's right there. It's right there, you know. But occultism. Oh no. Wait a minute. I can accept it if you may call yourself a pagan, but you're gonna occult. Baby. All right, Lost in Space. Good to see you, brother. And I know Isby is listening out there as well on the road, and all the rest of you. Karen Lynn, good to see you. Thank you. Chris, good to see you as well. It's fun. Try it yourself. I mean, listen, I'll have to bring out my second fork. Yeah. Yeah, it happens, man. But all right, folks, enjoy the day. It's a fabulous day. Make it your best day, and go out there and let the universe just bless you. Let it rain all over you, the good things, you know, favor, the very best of what life has to offer. So I speak favor over all of us. Indeed. You can put your hand on the monitor if you feel the power. Ernest Angley, put your hand on the screen, and I'm going to send you the power of God through the screen. You know, and some people actually did get the power of God through the screen. So there you go. All righty, folks. Gotta go. Gonna make like a tree and leave. See y'all tomorrow. And thank you for, man, just making me a rich, rich individual. My spirit is just, I mean, it's got the prosperity trail behind it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, follow me. This is the group that'll help do it. All right, baby. See you tomorrow. Enjoy it.